Bottom line, we don't have to worry about this one, right?
Well, obviously you need to take it seriously and do the kinds of things that the CDC and the Department of Homeland Security are doing. But this is not a major threat for the people in the United States, and this is not something that the citizens of the United States right now should be worried about.
That was, of course, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. And if that statement sounds a little odd, you're not alone. He made that statement you just heard on January 21st of this year. The man billed as the nation's top infectious disease expert, telling Americans the virus is nothing to worry about. Quite a contrast to his dire warnings today. And now, Fauci is under fire from President Trump after suggesting this whole thing could have been avoided if President Trump had just listened to his recommendation and taken it more seriously from the start.
Do you think lives could have been saved if social distancing, physical distancing, stay-at-home measures had started third week of February instead of mid-March?
I mean, obviously, you could logically say that if you had a process that was ongoing and you started mitigation earlier, you could have saved lives. Obviously, no one is going to deny that. But you're right. I mean, obviously, if we had, right from the very beginning, shut everything down, it may have been a little bit different. But there was a lot of pushback about shutting things down back then.
Should we be changing our habits, and if so, how?
No, right now, at this moment, there is no need to change anything that you're doing on a day-by-day basis. Then it became clear that we were in real trouble.
When was that? When was that?
Well, that was probably towards the middle to end of January.
That's an interview from Sunday, April 12th, Easter, with Fauci claiming he saw the warning signs all the way back in January. Then.
I don't think this is something that the United States public should be worried or frightened about. I think the risk is very low right now for the United States.
It's not clear, but it sounds like our nation's leading expert on the coronavirus actually has no idea what to expect and is just making this up as he goes. Here is Dr. Fauci outlining his prediction that a major viral pandemic will strike the United States during Trump's administration at a black tie event at Georgetown University in January of 2017.
The topic today is the issue of pandemic preparedness. And if there's one message that I want to leave with you today, based on my experience, and you'll see that in a moment, is that there is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak.
So we got to get down to who is really behind the scenes, behind it all, running the show. It's not the puppets you see on TV that are named Trump or Biden or Obama or Reagan or any of these others you guys all pay tithe to and spout out about, hey, this guy said this and this guy's doing that. That's not who's running the show. Who's running this all? Who wants to get rid of 95% of humanity? Georgia Guidestones. Here we see Fauci, a dedicated public service, former Jesuit school. Here he's talking to the kids at the Jesuit school. He's been an infectious disease director through 4 presidents. How can he sit on through 4 presidents? And, well, reason? Because they're all on the same team. Where did the Trump dumpster go? Jesuit educated. Hey, who knew about that, you know? And here we got Governor Gavin Newsom. I guess this is my Jesuit upbringing. It comes from the Bible, where there are many parts. And here you see down here, let me just scroll down. Here we see Dr. Fauci went from Regis to College of Holy Cross, a Jesuit institution. So did Andrew Cuomo, former governor of New York. And we have more on here. We see Cuomo attended Marist Father Society of Mary, but he was educated by the Jesuits. As Governor Cuomo then went to Fordham, just like Trump dumpster went to Fordham. Governor Newsom, California, shelter-in-place order. He went to high school in Marin County, a rival high school of mine, and graduated from Santa Clara University. Santa Clara University is known as the Silicon Valley of the Jesuits, okay? Notice where the first outbreaks came through was in Santa Clara as well. And so you can see these guys are all on the same team. President Trump went to Fordham, a Jesuit institution, for 2 years before transferring, folks. This is the real power. So one more thing I wanted to bring up here, in that they're all on the same team. This is Obama with his intelligence group. They're all Jesuits. They all went to Jesuit school. All right, and here you see the power structure of who's at the top. And the Jesuits have been running the show since the very beginning. This is from John Adams, who in the 1800s said, "My history of the Jesuits is not eloquently written, but it is supported by the unquestionable authorities, and very particular and very horrible. The Jesuits' restoration is indeed a step towards darkness, cruelty, despotism, and death. I do not like the appearance of the Jesuits." How come we don't hear about this? How come we don't hear about Pope Francis being the first Jesuit in 600 years in running the Vatican? And here you have how they run the countries with their assistancies. And here they have it all over the world. The Jesuits rule. You can look it up, and they got their little hand signals that they give to everybody as well. And then in closing here, just you got to understand how Washington, D.C., they're going to make it a 51st state, yada, yada. Well, they're getting rid of the corporation is what they're doing. The White House was named after Andrew White, the first Roman Catholic archbishop who came on a boat called the Freemason into Jamestown, setting up the Scottish Rite Freemasons. Potomac River used to be called the Tiber River. Washington, D.C. has 7 hills, the same as Rome. Rome used to, Maryland, the name of Washington, D.C. in Maryland was named Rome, Maryland, before it was named Washington, D.C., donated by John Carroll, the richest man in the United States at the time, who founded Georgetown University 6 months before Washington, D.C., who was a Jesuit. Jesuit Georgetown University, founded, as I said, by Carroll. Donald Trump, Jesuit School. Clinton, Jesuit School, Georgetown. Jerry Brown, minister. He was a Jesuit minister running California. Lincoln was killed by the Surratt family and 4 hung. John Surratt was granted asylum in the Vatican. And it took until after, they all knew, up until 1984, that the Jesuits had killed, the Catholics had killed Lincoln, and they changed the history books. And then Ronald Reagan restored diplomatic relations in 1984 with the Vatican. The ban was due to the Roman Catholics' killing of Lincoln. So, you folks, we got to wake up. We're being played like a fiddle. Most of the sheeple will just follow along, but you can see the contradiction in Fauci and just causing confusion, division, and making us fight amongst each other when we really should be understanding who the real power base is behind. This is religious war. They want to annihilate all religions under a unified religion, causing mass confusion. That's why they're closing all the churches. All you Christians and Catholics, you better wake up, because they're coming after you, and they're going to make a holy war out of all this. You watch. Anyway, that's all I got. Please share, and thank you for all your support.